But we're going to talk about a lot of it is the predictions for what's coming.
Put it down so that you wouldn't.
I did about a month ago. That's good. About a month ago, I was talking about the exit. A lot of questions were coming in to my YouTube regarding the exit of Europe, and a large majority of my clients saying no, it will destroy Europe. They're not going, and I kept on saying yes, they are. And I did put it up about 3 weeks afterwards. But obviously, and I was right, they did exit, and it is going to be, and I had said this last year, and I usually put a predictions video out for the year next year, and I said that Europe is going to be decimated, or at least have this huge, how can I say, kind of a downfall or crash in July. Now, I had no idea that Brexit was going to happen. But anyway, I still, on a personal note, obviously being raised in London, I still think they did the best thing. And a lot of people don't agree with me, especially the financial people, because they're freaking out because the financial centre of London has to be moved now. But quite frankly, they're not seeing the bigger picture here. And they, I don't want to get too much into it because really you're concentrating here on America. But I did give predictions on that video. If anybody wants it, there's a board going around. I'll send it to you. And I did give predictions for the stock market, gold, silver, and copper, and some other events that are happening. Now, regarding America, just quickly, because we're talking about economic changes here. In America, I do see, and I did mention this several times on several videos, that if you're thinking of selling, sell now. Your house, I'm talking about, not yourself or anything. Don't worry. But, yeah, I don't want one. Exactly. That's up to you. I don't tell you what to do. I always tell my clients, it's up to you what you wish. But basically, what I do predict is that if you are selling, please sell, really think about selling your house before November, okay? Because there's going to be, whoever gets in, and I'm not going to tell you who, it is going to affect the economy, period, okay? It's like a change of regime anyway, Democrat or Republican. And it is going to have a quick, it's going to have quite a shake-up. In our economy, and it will have ripples all over the place. Now, of course, now with everything that I'd said about Brexit, and unfortunately they are going to go through quite a tsunami of changes with the economy there, and it is affecting us. It did affect us, but it won't affect us, and I will repeat that, it will not affect us, the dollar, as much as you think it will. Okay, the dollar is actually going to be stronger, if anything, because it's a more stable economy around there. But I'm not saying great, but it will be stabilized. Now, the worst information I'm going to give you, and sometimes I wonder if people who call me Debbie Doom are right, but basically, what I am seeing is in February next year, and this is after the new administration takes over, February is going to be far more catastrophic in America than it is going to be in November. That's where, and it's about announcing certain changes, but it's not even that. It's going to affect the stock market. Now, don't start freaking out, and any broker will tell you who's in the stock market, leave it where it is, okay, and let it ride. Just like everything's cycle, okay? What I'm saying about the real estate, if you want to sell it before November, because it is at the highest price, and especially in California. We're enjoying quite a bit of a high, but it won't come back into a cycle of this kind of height of money that you can get for your place or commercial. I've got a lot of business clients all over the world too. That is where the peak is, and it won't return for another 8 years at that peak. All right, but I will say on a very positive note, please listen to this more than anything else. Two things. One, we are not, NOT, going into a depression again. We're not going to go into we'll go into a slight depression, but it won't be a recession where we've been, okay? So we're not looking, we are going to get a very squashed economy, but nothing like what we have been, all right? And the other thing is, I always tell people, don't, and it's not fear-mongering, I am telling you, stop worrying about the bigger picture and look at your own backyard. How are your finances? Are you putting things aside? Are you being careful? What's going on? Okay, so if you protect yourself in that way, you won't have the fear or the outlook that you are, that the, I'm sorry to say, media is doing out there. That's how media is. They just try and hype the things that they want. And most of it, I hate to say, is politically driven. And this is not a great surprise to a lot of you, I'm sure. It shouldn't be. Otherwise, I've got a great bridge in London I can sell you. But basically, it is something that this is all fear-mongering. It's steering you, okay? So basically, you need to start thinking about, am I going to be okay? Do I have money? And if you haven't got money, it's okay. But just go and shore up for yourself. Don't start going into panic, okay? Anyway, I want to go over quickly. In the 2016 predictions, there are certain things that I gave out. It was about an hour and a half, well, hour really. But just on a quick review, I wanted to let you know, unfortunately, I did bring this up, and it was about the terrorists and shootings in certain countries, and I'm afraid they did come true in America, Belgium, France, and France again is going to get hit later on, I'm afraid, but it won't be in Paris. And this is, unfortunately, not exactly the new way, but I'll explain it in another video. We only have a certain time here. So basically, all that and the shootings, that will, we will be having another maybe three more mass, not here, but in around the States. But this is about awareness, not about guns, I'm sorry to say, but it's about awareness of behavior, okay? That we are getting very, the young, and it's mostly the young, and what I call young are anybody from 1 year old, well, not that really, but say 8 years old to 28, okay? So those are the ones who are going to be a bit more volatile, so watch it. And in Australia, there was a lot of fires and flooding, which I told you, discovery of new oil fields, the boat, of course, flooding, and we've had a lot of flooding. Even this morning I heard there was floods. So that will kind of continue until through November, so, but it won't be here, unfortunately. But there's that, and some volcanoes that were erupting in Japan. There's so much more, but what I really want to go into is what we have to come here.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You said there won't be flooding here, unfortunately.
Yes.
Because we're in a drought.
Well, in a drought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've been flooded, but I thought we had water.
Yeah, water. But we're coming into an La Nina year too, so that's kind of an opposing one too. But I want to go over just quickly, and this is one of the books I was trying to get out, but not yet, but I just want to raise a hand if you're encountering these things. Has anybody been clearing their closets out or clearing things and deciding to throw things out? A bit like a maniac in a way. That you're rethinking even buying new things and saying, what do I do? Who's going to get rid of this when I die? You know, that kind of mentality. That you really want to be scant in a way. And you want a fresher life, right? Okay, who's been feeling so druggy and sleepy during the day they want to crawl underneath their desk and go to sleep? Yeah? Okay. Who's been, and this could be either you or somebody you know, and that is they're going from 0 to 2,000 in a few seconds, anger that they can't control. If anything, you're actually enjoying being angry. right?
Well, not me, but I
Yeah, that
know
you know.
someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you know, the temper, and that's part of these things that we're going through as well. Yeah, giggling out the front, we know why. Okay.
Can I ask a question while you're on that subject?
Sure.
Is that why there are so many people having road rage?
Yes.
And,
Yeah. You know, the people who are here understand about the holistic area, that you know that it's not related just because you're angry, right? There are so many things out there, and I'm trying, the book is actually this big, I'm trying to edit it down, but there are over 250 signs that we are in massive change. We've been in evolutionary change, it's an evolutionary change, as well as a planetary change. And if you've noticed the earthquakes, and I said of this last 2 years that the earthquakes are going to get larger into the 8s and 9s, and they're happening, okay? But next year is when it's really going to start ramping up, okay?
Everywhere.
Here?
Yeah, I knew that was coming. As she said, making her exit to the doorway. You know, a lot of people are saying, when are you leaving California? I'd like to know and why you're leaving. I'll think about letting you know. Anyway, and who's been, these are some other signs, who's wanted, get this overwhelming feeling they just want to run away from their life, that it's so suffocating, they want to get in their car and then not stop. And it's just been too much. It's the depression, and it's not a depression that is normal depression, it's such a suffocating depression. Now, when I do readings, I always go backwards, so if you're new to me, you know, regardless who you are, I will go backwards. And this is important because, one, you need to know I've connected. I know I've connected, to be honest. And the third most important reason is the times I bring up are the times that you haven't let go of. It's either an event or a co-behavior. And that's usually, you know, tied to something. So it's a revelation, but otherwise I'm brutal with my readings, by the way. Not everybody gets that, but if you do, there's only one guy I ever took his face off. I admit that. He was okay with it. So anyway, who's been getting rid of, this is a biggie, who's been getting rid of family and friends, colleagues, that, in other words, users, and they no longer not serve you, but they've been using you anyway, and you just don't want to be around them. And yeah.
Becoming aware.
Yeah, well, becoming aware, and why are you even around them?
Right.
It's as if you want, remember the clearing out, it's a simpler life. Who's been wanting less clutter around them too? They want a simplistic life.
Yeah.
Now this is phase 5, and it's called, phase 5 is clearing, cleansing, and clarifying. You know what you want in your life, you know what you don't want in your life. And that includes people who are users, to be honest, who, oh yeah, you know, could you just take me here, or, you know, I need $5 or whatever it is, okay? So you're being more aware, and it's getting more control in your life, and that's what it is. Now remember, control, one class it's called Face Your Fears I teach, and it's one of the most brutal classes I teach, but basically let me teach you something. Regarding fears, the more you fear something, the more is going to manifest in your life. Okay, it's an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, it will manifest. Control. The more you try and control something, the less control you're going to have over it. So let go. So you know, don't go nuts on me on that one. Okay. Who in the last 2.5, I would say even 3 years, has been going through the weirdest medical problems or issues, or even, how can I say, medical, even legal issues, the weirdest kind of challenges in their life. Anything? Yeah, there are, and it's kind of off-the-wall issues. And this is, the major one is, that I would ask you, is would you say that in the last 2.5 years, but this happens every either 3 days, it could happen as little as 3 days, to 3 months or 6 weeks, would say that they are not the same person they were about 2 or 3 days ago or 2 weeks ago. They're changing, they're evolving. They don't like the same things they like, or they have a different attitude. See? And we're in evolution. This is all we're clarifying. And you let it go. And if you don't, if you're stubborn enough to ignore it, it'll come back round and slap you on the head again. And it's to try and clear it. And to give you, all they want here is for you to be happy, for you to let go and not be so controlled. Remember, we're conditioned with so many. There are 3 classes. It takes 3 months to get through that if you're lucky. And it's garbage in, garbage out. And that's about all conditioning that we undergo. You've been going through quite a few challenges, haven't you, in the last 5 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, right? And even though you are all smiles and everything, it's as if you're screaming inside.
Screaming.
Yeah, yeah. But you're strong, but there are a lot of things going on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's coming out of nowhere and you don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And people, right?
Yes.
Okay, by the end of July, there's a big change, but sometimes you do it to yourself.
Yeah.
It's not the victim mode, but nearly victim mode. So you need to really look at the relationships you have in your life and let the certain things go, and then move on with the others. You understand? But take care, take the reins of, how can I say, not responsibility, but this is your life, all right? And even when I read for you, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll never tell you what to do. This is your life, not my life, okay? And it's not exactly a law, but quite frankly, I'll give you everything. I'll give you as much as I can in the time allotted, but it's what you do with that information. But don't come crying to me if you say, it didn't happen. Well, did you do this? Did you do that? I've got to, remember, I don't read through angels, guides, or anything like that. I read through pure energy and also dimensions. And how many dimensions do you think we have? 3?
I would think 11. Ooh.
Times that a few thousand.
Pardon?
Times that a few thousand.
Oh, is that right?
Remember, we have been in existence. It's a consciousness. And when you transition over the other, because remember, I'm a medium too, so I communicate with people from the other side. One of your guides is your great-grandfather, very strong man on your father's side. And by the way, if anybody wants and goes through a lot of challenges, there's a thing called the candle lesson I've got on my YouTube, and if somebody wants, they can put their name down on here and I'll send you a list of YouTubes. And basically, the candle lesson, if you light the candle, you've all got different colors, you can email me, you don't need to be in front of me. Remember, I read energy, not you. And I know who you are, I can even see you, which kind of freaks people out. But basically, you light the candle, there are 3 caveats, it's too long to go into, but 3 caveats, but basically ask for what you want. And one of the things is, people say, oh, I'm going to ask for money. Oh, and these are all your higher spirits guides and your guides, your personal guides. And say, oh, you ask for money. So there you are walking away, and then you see, oh, a penny. Oh, you got your money, now you're happy? So be careful what you ask for is one caveat. And if you don't ask, you don't get. All right? That's the second one. So do ask for money, but be not to the cent. But they've got a great sense of humor, and you're the butt of their joke, by the way. They've got nothing else to do, so they'll do it. So ask for it. And I've had people, clients, thousands of clients, who've done the candle lesson, and they've got things that even before they even asked, because it's been in their mind. But one of the most precious things about the candle lesson is, if you're going through a lot of depression and darkness, which a lot of you will be, and I'll explain why you're going through that in a second, but basically, those days are sometimes so severe, and this is when I read you get into such a dark depression, it's as if you're a fetus and you just want to, and a lot of them want to go into suicidal, to be honest. And there's one case that, I don't know how people find me. I was reading for him in New York, and while he was in New York, and I said, you had a gun in your mouth 2 weeks ago, and that's it, you wanted to end your life. But the gun, when you pulled the trigger, it didn't go off, did it? And he said, how did you know? I said, you think you're alone? You're never alone. Your guides are there. And the gun went off later, didn't it? And he said, yes, it did. So I found out his mother was in the towers, 9/11. But you know, you don't realize they can do a lot on the other side. You have no idea. I've heard things that you never believe, but they have so much power. But the thing is, we need to also grow, other than believe, but be happy in what our life. They only want us to be happy. Now, why the depression? Especially this time. Now, who said that they're growing every 3 months to 3 days to even 20 minutes? Because you're letting go of old energy that's no longer you, right? So you have to, we're so into the security of even the bad things in our life, you have to let go. It's okay. And so in the morning, get the candle, yours is pink, or even a red one's fine, but pink. And you light the candle in the morning and say, please just get me through the day, especially if you know you're going into a funk, and usually you haven't slept anyway. So if you're going into a funk or you're in depression, light the candle, and you will be shocked. Instead of feeling that screaming terror that you want to go into a closet and just curl up and stay there, what happens is they get floated. You get floated through the day as if you've got a monthly headache, not even a headache, it's just like a monthly, you're not feeling that good. But basically you're functioning. You're able to get in the car, you're going to work, you're able to talk. You just ask them, and he's around you. They've got a lot of guides, okay? But it's been quite bad for a long, long time. But you'll see by November why. You help a lot of people, don't you?
Yes.
And you're always there. But
Yes.
when you're in this terror of aloneness, nobody's around, and you don't want them to be around, except you sometimes. But the thing is, it's for you, it's just a screaming hell, right? I'm sorry. But by November, you'll clear it, and you'll understand why. You've got a lot to do, okay? And they're always around you. It's just that we're so arrogant, we think, oh, we're going to do it ourselves. No, ask for help. If you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, and be careful what you ask for. Remember just quickly, one of my first readings in Carlsbad, a woman and a young girl and her mother and grandmother, all of them were at the table and said, well, I want a child. I'm desperately, my husband and I want a child. We've been trying for so long. I said, oh, you'll be pregnant in November. And she said, oh my God, and they're running up and down and going all over the place. And I said, hey, get back down here. I said, but next year, about 2 months after the child's born, you're going to be pregnant again. Oh my God. And I said, well, be careful what you ask for. Right? So what I'm saying, you could be a bit too much sometimes. But in other words, if you don't ask, you don't get. And you have to be worried, be careful of that. Don't worry about this. That's why I'm trying to tell everybody the predictions. I'll try and put the 2017 in, but quite frankly, we're going into a time of big change where how many times I've said it in the past prediction about the rioting and the race thing about being, other people being shot when they shouldn't be. This is all an awareness of the inequality of our lives, okay? And that people are not going to stand for it anymore. That we're in a stage where it's far more enlightened. But for those who are still stuck in the good old boy kind of time, and remember, I've been attacked quite a few times when I was a kid in England. They don't like people who are, not all of them, but at that time when I was growing up. So I know what, being attacked is. So what I'm telling you, you need to realize that this is no longer valid. And it comes back. And these people who even kill and in shootings, they have no idea, and I'll do a book on it. But quite frankly, on the other side, you want to know what hell is, and it is not even a second, I wouldn't even want to endure a second of what they will be going through when they transition. They have no idea, all right? It is all accountable on the other side, and I won't get into that. Any questions quickly? You're okay? But anyway, basically, I'm sorry about that. And for the lady at the back, have you, early in June, there was some issues going on in your life, challenges, and you've been kind of at a wall with it. And it's been so difficult to deal with things, right? and in a way, you're kind of alone too, to be honest. And there's no one to really know who, and you aren't alone, by the way. There are 4 of them behind you, 3 are very actively working, but you have to shift your vision. It's as if you were looking here, but you need to look there, and you'll see everything coming out. One day ago, you seemed to change your vision, your hope inside you. You feel more hopeful a day ago? See? All right, so wait for until August 12th, and I'm pretty accurate. So August 12th, a lot of issues that you think you can't make it through, am I late? You will see that it changes everything, okay? And the big problem, because there are 3, is that true? There are 3 issues. Yeah, the bigger problem is going to be ending by November, all right? But you think it can't be, but it is. And again, if you've got challenges, if you don't ask, you don't get, right? So you need to really put it out there. They have ways of helping you, and sometimes the challenge is there for you to grow because you're too darn stubborn with things, okay? And again, the economy, don't worry about it. How many minutes have I got? I'm sorry I talk so fast.
12:30.
She's not here yet, so you can just.
I think she's here.
Thank you. That's a good idea.
Sorry? How much?
Nobody's here.
Yeah, well, actually, they're trying to wait, I think. So what time is it?
12:30.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it's Betty's next.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she was around the corner, so she's just being polite. But anyway, but hopefully I've helped a few people. And for the ones who want the YouTubes, I'll send them to you. Just sign this. Okay? And thank you so much.